In this question, we're given r equals 4 sine theta, which is this curve here, and r equals 1 plus 2 sine theta, which is the curve here within a circle. To find the values of theta, we sub in r equals 0. So it's 1 plus 2 sine theta equals 0, which comes to sine theta equals -1/2. From this value here, we can find that theta equals 7 pi on 6, or theta equals 11 pi on 6. The 2k pi on the end of each of these equations becomes negligible because the generated loop theta is between 0 and 2 pi. So we take 7 pi and 6 and we test either side of it, which is pi and 3 pi and 2, and we sub it into the original equation where we get 1 and -1. So therefore we can just say theta is greater than or equal to 7 pi on 6 or less than or equal to 11 pi on 6.
So for part B, we're looking to find the y and x intercepts, and for the curve r equals 1 plus 2 sine theta, to do that for the x-axis, we sub in theta equals 0, and that gives you r equals 1 plus 0, so r equals 1, and that gives you the polar coordinates 1, 0. Then we sub in theta equals pi for the x-axis in the negative direction, and that gives you r equals 1 plus 0, which is 1 again, and that gives you the coordinates 1, pi. Then for the y-axis, we sub in pi on 2, that's the y-axis in the positive direction, and then that gives you r equals 3, and that makes the coordinates 3 pi on 2. And then for the y-axis in the negative direction, we sub in 3 pi on 2, so you get r equals 1 minus 2, which gives you -1, and that makes the coordinates -1, 3 pi on 2, and then since it's a negative radius, you just make it 1 pi on 2, which is back in the positive direction, and that gives you this point here.
In part B, we're finding where the graph crosses the horizontal and the vertical axis. So for the horizontal axis, we know 0 and pi. When theta equals 0, we find that r equals 0. So in our Cartesian form, we've got 0, 0. So theta equals pi. We find r also equals 0, so 0 and pi. And we know these are both the same if we put it on the graph, so therefore it crosses the horizontal at the origin. So for the vertical axis, we've got pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. So for pi over 2, we find r is 4. So in our Cartesian form, 4 and pi over 2 is our point where it crosses. For 3 pi over 2, we find that r equals -4. So therefore, in our Cartesian form, -4, 3 pi over 2. If we plot these on the graph, we find that they are the same point up at 4 pi over 2. So therefore, it crosses the vertical at 4 pi over 2.
Okay, to calculate the points of intersection, we take both of our equations and we end up with sine theta equals 1/2. That gives us theta equals pi on 6 plus 2k pi, or theta equals 5 pi on 6 plus 2k pi. Now theta is between 0 and 2 pi. So for theta equals pi on 6, we put that in our equation r equals 4 sine pi on 6, which gives us 2. And for theta equals 5 pi on 6, r equals 2. So our points of intersection are 2 pi on 6 and 2 5 pi on 6.